Hello and welcome back to Think Outside the Board and the next edition of the Crowdfunding Roundup, which is the first crowdfunding roundup for December 2023, in which I'll be looking at the campaigns that I think are worthy of your time and potential backing that launched between November the 29th and December the 5th. And I normally do kind of a preamble in these videos in the opening section. I've decided I'm going to limit those to the first crowdfunding roundup of the month, which means I'll be doing that this video and then I won't be doing it again until the first video of January, just so that my regular watchers don't have to sit through the same thing over and over, but still having something there in the occasional video for new viewers to find. And the preamble is essentially this. All my videos are tabbed, so you can scroll over the play bar and go directly to the content that you're looking for. Although in this video, this week, there's only 2 campaigns that launched that I want to pass on to you. So there's not really too much for you to be hunting around for. There will essentially be 3 sections in this video, the 2 campaigns, and then the outro. And in the outro, I briefly mention all of the games that are new to my collection this period and what you can expect in the next video. So that'll happen in the outro at the very end of the video. And then finally, all of my videos have links to the campaigns down below in the description section. So if you see something that you like, you can just go down into that section, click on the link, and it will take you right to that campaign. I am launching more kinds of content soon, including revamped teach and review videos and live streaming of games. And so that kind of comes into play in the outro section because the games that are new to my collection are games that I'm thinking are games prime for those formats. So in the outro, when I mention those games, if any of those games are games that you'd like to have me produce teach and review videos for or live stream, just let me know in the comments. And that's it. The best way to support the channel at this point in time is simply to like and subscribe. And at some point next year, I'll be launching a Patreon so that people who want to support the channel financially a little bit have the option to do that. But we are just going to head in to the first of our 2 campaigns that I'm recommending to you today, and that is The Enemy is at the Gates. Now, I don't often cover party games or very, very light games, voting games, and then on the other end, I don't usually cover war games or 18xx games. What I tend to concentrate on are medium light to heavy strategy games, including heavy Euros, everything in between, dungeon crawlers, and then narrative exploration games. But I tend to not focus on war games or 18xx games or the very, very light games. So it is rare that I cover a war game, but the reason that I'm doing this video is there's only one other campaign that I want to talk about. And we do have a campaign that just launched from Compass Games, who is, I think, one of the best publishers of war games. They tend to put out a new campaign every few months. I don't cover all of the campaigns, but I figured I'd hit this one. So this is called The Enemy is at the Gates. Let's go over to the Board Game Geek entry because I think it bears looking at. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to this score. This is from one person voting, and it could very well be a person who hasn't actually played the game. But the thing that I wanted to read to you is this area down here that talks about the game. So it says, The Enemy is at the Gates is the second installment of the Modern War series using the well-regarded company scale system. Players will fight this might-have-been battle using mostly companies at 500 meters a hex scale. Each turn is 2 hours, and the game uses a chip pull system that makes for both unpredictable face-to-face play as well as an excellent solitaire experience. The maps are painstakingly and meticulously drawn by Antonio Pinar, providing perhaps the best major urban map ever made. Greg Sarnecki is also on board to provide the most exacting order of battle also ever made for this campaign. This is the ultimate game of modern urban warfare on a massive scale. As befits a game on modern war, air power, helicopters, electronic warfare, chemical weapons, and sabotage will be included as well. Using all your weapons effectively will determine who wins the battle for Berlin. So this is a war game using the chip pull system and using this company scale system that Compass Games has used in the past and they're now using for this new Modern War series. It is a heavy game, I'm guessing, since most of the games designed by Adam Starkweather are heavy games. He is best known for The Devil's Cauldron, The Battles for Arnhem and Nijmegen, A Victory Denied, Crisis at Smolensk, July to September 1941, and Warriors of God, The Wars of England and France, 1135 to 1453. War games sometimes have really long and unwieldy titles. The artist on this, Antonio Pinar, is best known for Battle Hymn Volume 1, Gettysburg and Pea Ridge, High Frontier, the 3rd edition, and War and Peace, Game of the Napoleonic Wars. And then finally, the publisher here, Compass Games, is best known for Brotherhood and Unity, Crusade and Revolution, the Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, Enemy Action Ardennes, the Russian Campaign, and Silent War. Here is a look at the campaign. This launched on November the 30th. The campaign is going to run until December the 15th. So far, they've got about $18,000 that they've collected, and that's off of a $2,500 funding goal for about a 7-time multiplier. Compass Games, as I've said, is, I think, one of the best war game publishers out there, and they publish games fairly often. They normally have a new game launching every, let's say, 2 or 3 months. Probably actually every 2 months. They have a 3-minute video here that showcases some of the game and the components and the component quality. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll briefly go over the single pledge with this campaign. So if this is something that you want, there's not a lot of choice here. There is 1 pledge level. So you'll be pledging that pledge level, and then there are 4 more games that you can add on. But before we get to that, let's take a look at this video.
What's up, everyone? Julian here with Compass Games, and today I have with me The Enemy is at the Gates, The Battle for Berlin, 1985. This is another Adam Starkweather game. It uses his company scale system. It is the 7th game in his CSS line, and it is the 2nd in his Modern War subseries of games. This game is a hypothetical one that plays through what would happen if the Warsaw Pact had attacked Berlin, and is essentially an epic battle between East and West. So I will open it up and give you guys a look at what's inside. So in Enemy at the Gates, we have some plastic bags, 4 10-sided dice. We have our rule book that's exclusively for this game, The Enemy is at the Gates. Pretty short, not much to it, 28 pages. Then we have a rule book just for the company scale system, and this works for any company scale system game. A little heftier at 44 pages. We have our scenario book. Another 28 pages. We have one smaller 8.5 by 11 map. There are several charts in this game. Here we have a charts and tables player aid with a terrain effects chart on the back. There's 2 of those, identical. We have a date, time, and weather display. And then on these 3 player aids, there are several separate division displays. 4 on the first, 3 on this one, and another 4 on this player aid. We have 9 counter sheets. And we have 4 full-size 22 by 34 inch maps that I will open up to give you guys a better look at, and also show you what it looks like when they're all put together.
Okay, so that is the video. And if we go down here, we can see the single pledge here, which is the Berlin pack. This is a $109 pledge. They don't actually list shipping anywhere in this campaign, but if you go to click on it like this, it will put the shipping in. And I always include shipping in the prices that I talk about in my videos, but I always do that in terms of continental US shipping. So if you're anywhere else, you'll need to look at the shipping for your area. That means, though, if you're in the continental US, once you added the shipping into here, you're looking at a total pledge price of $125. They don't list add-ons in this, but as they're doing more and more on Kickstarter, there's a details section. So you can click on this, and it will kind of reframe the whole page, and it will list all of the add-ons that you can add. And in this case, you've got 4 different games from Compass Games that you could add onto your pledge. There's NATO for $55, the Doomsday Project 2 Balkans for $79, the Fulda Gap for $99, and the Third World War for $130. And then we can look over here and see that the Berlin Pack, they're aiming to deliver this in January 2024, which is very soon, which makes me think that this is already either at the printers or it's already been printed completely. But either way, they are intending to get this delivered to you in a month and a half time. So that is the latest campaign from Compass Games. As I've said, they tend to do a campaign every 2, maybe 3 months, and they have very, very well-regarded war games. But I don't cover war games all the time, and the only reason I'm really including it here is just because I have such a light video this week, and the only other campaign that I'm going to be talking about is Tiny Epic Cthulhu. So if you are a huge war game fan, and for some reason you don't know about Compass Games, I would recommend following the publisher here, and then every time they have a new game on Kickstarter, you'll get notifications about it. So let's then go and look at our other campaign, which is Tiny Epic Cthulhu. Now, this campaign launched on December the 5th, Tuesday of this week. They already have $307,000 here from pledges, and that is on a $15,000 funding goal, which means they've got like a 20-time multiplier, a little bit more than that, which means they have the kind of highest overall funding and the highest multiplier this week. But that's not a huge accomplishment since we're only looking at 2 campaigns, and one of them is for a smaller war game publisher. But there you have it. Tiny Epic Cthulhu is kind of the campaign of the week. Now, this is a bag building, push your luck game, probably medium-like complexity in the Tiny Epic series. The Tiny Epic series are almost completely designed by Scott Alms, and the 5 games that he's best known for are Beer and Bread, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, which just had a successful campaign on GameFound, like a reprinting campaign, Tiny Epic Dungeons, Tiny Epic Galaxies, and Warp's Edge. And then there are 2 artists on this game, Susie O'Connor, this is her first published game, and Ian Rosenthaler has previously worked on Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, House of Borgia, Tiny Epic Defenders, Tiny Epic Dungeons, and Tiny Epic Pirates. Gamelin Games is the publisher. They were started to publish the Tiny Epic games, but they've published some other things. And right now, their 5 highest rated games are Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, Tiny Epic Dungeons, Tiny Epic Galaxies, and Tiny Epic Quest. All right, we're going to look at another 3-minute video. This one's a little bit different than the first video. This is not just looking at the components out of the box. This is kind of showing off the game more. And then when we come back, we'll look at the 4 pledges for this one of which is a print and play.
Tiny Epic Cthulhu is an immersive and thrilling game that will take players on a captivating journey through the chilling lore and horror of Lovecraft. This game, designed for 1 to 4 players, offers an enthralling cooperative experience that can be enjoyed in an hour or less. In Tiny Epic Cthulhu, players embark on a crucial mission to save the town of New Arkhimor from plunging into madness. This thrilling game requires strategic thinking, clever utilization of asymmetrical abilities, and the harnessing of the powers found in different town locations. The gameplay centers on the utilization of the versatile Madness Spinner, which introduces an element of chaos and disseminates madness across the town. This spinner controls the movements of horrific shamblers, polychromatic madness tentacles, the Great Old One, and more. The pointer on the spinner indicates 1 of 10 possible effects, along with the corresponding location that will be impacted by the madness tentacles. On the opposite side of the spinner lies the tentacle, which not only determines the specific type of shambler that will inhabit the town card, but also influences the movement of the Great Old One. Players are tasked with skillfully managing their emotions of fear, rage, greed, and chaos on their individual player boards, while avoiding the peril of succumbing to madness by recklessly pushing the boundaries of their own emotional limits. In order to seal the Necronomicon and prepare for the ultimate confrontation with the Great Old One, players must collaborate to translate ancient pages, banish menacing shamblers, and collect powerful runes. In the end, players will rely on these sacred runes to seal away the horrors of the Great Old Ones, ensuring the eternal protection of humanity from its malevolent influence. The thematic gameplay and Lovecraftian lore of Tiny Epic Cthulhu will transport players into a realm of unfathomable chaos and spine-chilling horror. This captivating game offers variable levels of difficulty, a diverse cast of characters, and a selection of great old ones that draw inspiration from the twisted mind of H.P. Lovecraft himself. Each playthrough promises a unique and enthralling experience that will leave players spellbound. Make sure to include the Cult of Chaos expansion, where players engage in a thrilling battle against the enigmatic cultists. Your objective is to triumph over their malevolent rituals, unleashing the Great Old One and thwarting their wicked scheme to annihilate the world. Unleash your power to vanquish the realm of chaos and horror by pledging your support and acquiring a copy of Tiny Epic Cthulhu. Each pledge plays a vital role in bringing the Tiny Epic series to life. Don't wait. Join us and become a backer today.
Okay, so the Tiny Epic series in general tends to take other games that are out there and simplify them. So, it's hard for me to think that, for instance, like Dinosaur Island and the games that Dinosaur Island spawned didn't influence the creation of Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. But you'll see a lot of the Tiny Epic games with themes that are present in bigger, more complex games. And I think the idea of the Tiny Epic series is to distill those down, make them a little bit simpler, easier to teach, easier to play, less going on with components, less complexity. So there are a lot of Cthulhu-themed games out there, and Fantasy Flight publishes a lot of them. You've got Eldritch Horror, which is now out of print, Arkham Horror, which has had many editions made. I think they're now in the 3rd edition. You've got Arkham Horror, the card game, Mansions of Madness, Elder Sign, these are all from Fantasy Flight. Elder Sign is a more dice rolling game. There's stuff like Call of Cthulhu, Death May Die, which is not published by Fantasy Flight. It's designed by Eric Lang, among others. Cthulhu, Death May Die is a great game, in my opinion, by the way. There's Ancient Terrible Things, which just had a Kickstarter campaign deliver. And, there's more Cthulhu-themed card games out there. But they're obviously trying to create something that's a little bit smaller. There's no miniatures in this game except for the spinner, which looks like it's a miniature, can actually be painted. But a lot of what you're seeing elsewhere in this game is kind of simplified player pads. They're not dual layered. There's no miniatures. There's just a lot of kind of wooden screen printed tokens and things. We're going to go down and take a look at that right now. But there are 4 different pledges. The first one right here is a premium print and play. So this pledge is $20. That also means that there's no shipping associated with this because you're not getting sent any physical components. And you will get the sort of deluxe stuff in this game and the stuff in Cult of Chaos, which is the expansion. Now, as we head down into the other pledges, you will be getting print and play elements in the other pledges, but you'll only be getting those for the sort of thing you're pledging. Meaning, you'll only get the deluxe items of the print and play if you're pledging at the deluxe level, and you'll only be getting the Cult of Chaos print and play stuff if you are pledging at the top level that includes Cult of Chaos. But in this level, you're getting all of the print and play stuff, just nothing physical. So $20, no shipping. I do want to go down here, though, to show you kind of what is in the different pledges. So as we move down a little bit more here to the base game, this is a $25 pledge with $11 shipping, $36 total. This is what's in the box for that. So you're getting 6 hero player mats, 4 great old one mats, 5 town mats, all of these page cards, a shambler mat, discard mat, Necronomicon spinner, some dice, the draw bag, and all of these wooden tokens. So even in the base game, you're getting all of these screen printed wooden tokens. But that's the base game right there. If you go up a level to the deluxe game, you're jumping up $5 in pledge, so 25 to 30. The shipping on this one is also $11, so you're looking at $41 total. And then in that pledge, you're getting this stuff. So 20 more wooden tokens and 5 artifact cards, which together are known as the Astral Artifact Mini Expansion. So this stuff is probably never going to go to retail. This is just a Kickstarter bonus. And then if you go to the highest pledge level, oh, and I should mention, like in this level, you are getting the premium print and play stuff. So the deluxe associated print and play stuff. But if you want everything, you need to pledge this deluxe bundle 1, which will also get you this Cult of Chaos expansion. So this will get you 4 more hero player mats, 4 more great old one mats, 2 more city mats, this cultist mat, and then 35 more wooden tokens. So that is what is added on the deluxe bundle level. This is a $40 pledge, $13 in shipping for $53 total. And at this level, you are getting the premium print and play stuff, even for the Cult of Chaos expansion. So you're getting the print and play stuff for whatever content you're backing at. And then finally, they are planning to deliver Tiny Epic Cthulhu in November 2024. But those are both of our campaigns for this week. So that wraps the video, except for the outro. And in the outro, I like to talk about the games that are new to my collection this period. And the reason that I do that is because these are the games that I think are most ripe to have new revamped teach and review videos made or to be live streamed. So if any of those are things that you would like for these games, let me know in the comments. And the games new to my collection this period include 3 Ring Circus, which is a lighter kind of Euro I've heard really good things about and something I've wanted to play. Great Western Trail New Zealand, which is one of 2 new Great Western Trail games that have come out, I think this year, maybe last year, the other one being Argentina. And I still need to get both of those to the table and then make some decisions on which ones I'm going to keep, and if I'm going to keep my first edition of the original game along with Rails to the North. I also got in Jerusalem, Anno Domini, which I've heard really good things about. A lot of these games are games that I'm just grabbing now at the end of the year. They're just kind of finally coming out here in the US, but these are games that I've been hearing good things about. So Jerusalem is one of those. Another one is Kutnohora, the City of Silver. And then finally, I also got in the Lost Ruins of Arnak Missing Expedition. And that's the expansion, the new expansion that allows you to play Lost Ruins of Arnak as a little mini campaign. So these are all games that I'm excited to play, and I'm certainly happy to make any kind of content that my audience would like featuring these games. I also got in one Kickstarter this period, which is Fractal Beyond the Void, which is a space-themed 4X and legacy game. I love campaign games, I like 4X games, and that's something that I think would be really fun to live stream, because I don't know how many people out there either have Fractal or are going to be able to get it. It was on Kickstarter, I believe. It was definitely a crowdfunding game, and I don't believe it's going to be going to retail in any kind of volume. So for games like that, I would like to be able to share the experience with my audience, and I think it would be fun to live stream games like that where people may not be able to find them on their own, but they'd like to enjoy the experience. So live streaming seems a good way to go with games like that. But those are my new games this period. Let me know in the comments if any of those are games that you'd like to have teach and review videos produced for or see live streamed. And then finally, I also like to mention games that are likely to be covered in the next video. But we're in the holiday season now, and there are not a lot of campaigns that have been announced. There are no campaigns announced right now that will be launching next Tuesday that I know of. So I'm not really sure what will be the good games that I'll want to share with you from next Tuesday, but I assume there will be at least a couple. There is one game that has already launched that may make it into next week's video, and that is called The Battle for Versailles, which is on GameFound, that campaign, and that is about a fashion show competition. And I tend to really like fashion games. There aren't that many of them out there, but I like Pret-a-Porter a lot from Portal Games, and one of my favorite games is Rococo. And I just like the different kind of theme with these games, and they're really good. I find fashion games really suit themselves towards a grab bag of mechanics, where you're having to create something and then sell it. It could be wine. There are plenty of wine games, but there aren't that many dress games out there. So the Battle of Versailles is a new one. It's on GameFound right now. And depending what else gets launched and what I think after I take a deeper look at the Battle of Versailles, that is the single game that I know that is fairly likely to make it into next week's video. So come back next week, join me again, and we'll see what actually was launched and what I think is worthy of your time and your potential backing. And we'll discover that next week in next week's video together. Until then, have a great week, play lots of great games, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.